We used a difference in discontinuities placebo test to compare the rate of change in fatal crashes in March 2002 through 2006 to the rate of change in fatal crash rates in April 2007 through 2011, because neither would have been impacted by DST. Based on what we found by doing this, we can assume that other factors affecting crash risk are continuous at the transition time. As a result, we can be confident that the observed changes are caused by DST implementation. Thing is, the start date for DST varies from year to year. To estimate the longer-lasting impacts, we use a day-of-year fixed effect method. The fixed effect method, or FE method, compares the dates included in DST to those not included to measure the average impact that it has on fatal crash risk. Overall, the RD method helps us estimate the immediate impact of DST just after the spring transition, whereas the FE method helps us measure the average impact over a range of dates, some of which are DST and some of which are standard time.
Results. The results section is broken into 4 subsections to analyze the main regression discontinuity results, as well as mechanisms, the fixed effect model, and crash factors. The results of the main regression discontinuity depict the estimates of the impact of daylight saving time on fatal crashes. Panel A of Table 4 shows a distinct break in the trend line during the spring transition period. The vertical line in this figure indicates the start date of DST, and the shift of the trend line to a higher point shows that DST does in fact have an effect on increased crashes. This is all reinforced by Table 1, which shows that the spring transition into DST is associated with a 6.5% increase in fatal crashes. Next, we focus on the 2 main mechanisms of the transition into DST, light and sleep. Light mechanisms are shown to only be significant when leaving DST in the fall and entering in the spring. In the fall, there is a reduction of crashes in the morning and an increase in the evening. The opposite is true in the spring transition. Therefore, light doesn't have a net impact on crashes. It is only redistributed between morning and evening in those transitions. However, sleep mechanisms are significant during the spring transition, which can be seen in Figure 7. The jump in fatal crashes during the first 6 days of DST can be attributed to the shock that DST has on sleep cycles. Eventually, this shock dissipates as people adjust to new sleep schedules, which explains the decrease in the trend line after the initial 6 days. The fixed effect model shows results consistent with the main regression discontinuity and sleep mechanisms. Columns 3 and 4 show a 5.7% increase in fatal crashes in the first 6 days of DST. The significant predicted crash factor during DST is drowsiness. However, this prediction is difficult since drowsiness cannot be measured post-mortem. Of all crashes and near crashes, 22 to 24% are reported due to drowsiness. Outside literature has also come to the consensus that drowsiness is significantly underreported. If drowsiness numbers are indeed higher, Table 6 provides a back-of-envelope estimate that 31% of increases in crashes during DST are caused by drowsiness. This is consistent with a strong impact from sleep mechanisms.
Conclusion. When we look at the internal validity of our study, we acknowledge that there is some question. Because this is a national policy already in place, we didn't get to design treatment and control groups since everyone in the study has been treated. It is important to note that Arizona and Indiana were excluded from the study because they do not practice daylight saving time. However, this may have been a missed opportunity to have an estimate of the counterfactual by including these states as a comparison group. It is also difficult to identify the exact causes of any one car crash, considering the number of factors that could play a role.
It is also hard to say whether this study would have high external validity. There are 70 countries that implement DST, but because of unknowns like driving patterns, road conditions, general safety practices, as well as weather, and the effect of geographic location on the amount of light. Our study finds that the social cost of fatal crashes attributed to DST is too high to warrant the benefits. The average American household only saves around $4 because of DST. The 5.7% increase in fatal crashes caused by DST suggests a social cost between $120 and $300 million.
created using Powtoon.